Hi, everyone. My name is Jerry Wise, and I want to talk to you today about how narcissistic parents invalidate you. I've been working with individuals for 45 years in many different capacities of helping, from pastoring to social work to marriage and family therapy to pastoral counseling and chaplaincy and many other ways. And I've worked at trying to help people get their dysfunctional families out of them. And today I wanted to talk about this problem of how narcissistic parents invalidate you. And narcissistic parents will need to invalidate you. When they do that, they are borrowing self from you. Now, I know in the narcissistic community, talk about the narcissistic supply, and it is supply, but I like to think of it in what I call a family systems perspective. So it's a borrowing of self. You give part of yourself, so they have a self. Now, it's a pseudo self, but they'll take a pseudo self. Narcissists are not very, in terms of having a healthy self, that's not what they have. What they have is an accumulation of borrowed self from lots of people, lots of places, and lots of ways. And so when they invalidate us, they go up, we go down. And they get what the difference is. They get that difference between the two. So how do they do this? Well, there are some ways that you may be familiar with, possibly. Ignoring or dismissing feelings. They either don't hear you, don't want to hear you, or dismiss your feelings. They might belittle them. Your feelings are stupid. Why would you feel like that? That's ridiculous. And they just invalidate your sense of self while gaining some sense of self for themselves in doing that. And one of the things I've learned to try to do is to not allow others to borrow self unless there's a good, healthy reason for it. But the main thing is I don't want people bolstering their self on me or at the expense of me. Secondly, gaslighting. Of course, that's a very invalidating thing to do because that's basically saying, you don't know what you're talking about. That never happened. That's not the story. What do you mean they did so and so? They did this and that. No, they would say, absolutely not. I never did that. I never slit your tires, that weekend. No, yes, you did. You were enraged and you did that. I know that you did that. No. I think you're just making that up. And again, it's that gaslighting is to make us feel like we are always wrong and that we don't have a grasp of reality. And so what happens is when then we become self-doubting, they feel more self-confident. So I got to watch that self-doubting. And again, they're going to gaslight to try to get us in that position. Thirdly, constant criticism. You're not doing this right. You're not doing that right. No, that wasn't such a great thing. Well, yeah, I know you got all A's, but you did get an A minus. Man, I don't know why you just couldn't have made all A's and just rather than have this A minus. Always criticism, constant negativity, and again, that leads us to more low self-esteem. And whenever someone is criticizing us, they are putting themselves here over here. Helpful, constructive criticism is done like this. Unhealthy criticism is done like that. And that's where they're going down and looking down on you. So whenever somebody comes to me and is criticizing me, yeah, I may listen to it, but I'm more interested where they're at when they're doing it. I want to know what the envelope is, not just the message of the criticism. And again, sometimes people have done it badly with me, and I've still thought, well, they've got a point. But again, if they're up here, it's going to bolster them in this much. They're going to get bolstered in that way, and I'm going to get pushed down in that way. This is coming to someone right. Coming right to someone. That we're mutual. But yet I have something I want to share because it could be of benefit to you. But constant criticism by narcissistic parents is not something that's done this way. It's done that way. In fact, we were down like that, and they're poking us on the top of our emotional self. Conditional love. That's another way to invalidate you. Because if they show you love and acceptance by you doing X, Y, and Z, you do the X, Y, and Z, get the conditional love. First of all, that's not love. It only is masquerading as love. It's only pseudo love. Second of all, they get the benefit of you doing what they wanted you to do. So again, they're one up, you're one down, and we are loaning self to them. Invalidating identity. Comparing you to others. I wish you were more like your brother. I wish your wife was more like your fiance that you had years ago. It's always invalidating the identity, whether it be siblings, your own achievements. Again, it's disregarding who you are right now. And whenever I invalidate, I take a one-up position, not an equal to or mutual position. 6, comparisons. Invalidating your identity that I just mentioned, they want you to become what they want you to become. Comparisons is, I will do that through the comparisons. Well, your dad was very successful as a neurologist, and I hope that you can at least make his achievements and more. And again, the unspoken part of that is, if you don't, there's something wrong with you. And again, the comparisons make us feel inadequate or sends out a fear message. And again, they're the ones making the comparison. And whoever makes the comparison is the one that controls what's valuable. But that may not be what you consider valuable. Maybe you don't want to be a neurologist. But if mom says your dad was this way and he was wonderful, you should be like him and surpass him, that assumes that you accept the same ruler that she accepts, the ruler that you're measuring. Comparisons, no, I have a different ruler than that. I want to have a different ruler than my dysfunctional family would have. 7 is manipulation. And we're going to use guilt, shame, emotional blackmail, manipulations of all kinds. Your decisions, your feelings, your actions. I want to manipulate you in some way, because if I can get you to be my pawn on the chessboard, I gain a pseudo-self as a narcissist. I'm building up my narcissistic self while you are reducing your real self. So what do? What can we do differently? And I want to share with you, I can't share all the things that you can do. I have a program listed down below in the description where you can find a program, family differentiation, your new road to self. You can also enjoy a 12-month coaching group with me live once a month for 12 months. I hope you'll join that, because I think there's much more I could say about these topics. And people will always ask me, well, what do I do to fix this? Well, it's hard to describe that in a 13-minute video. And so that's why I suggested a program that could be of help to you. But I do give you some tips, and here are some tips. How are you continuing your parents' invalidation? How does their validation still live in you? And how do you invalidate yourself? Because if you can look and see how you do that, you have some control to stop doing that. Because it's no longer them doing it, it's me taking over their job. I want to give them their job back. You can have that. You can have that back. I'm not going to do that for me. Secondly, your family could shut you off from your ability to validate yourself. In growing up in a family like that, we shut off that switch. And we then don't validate ourselves because that's not normal for this family. And also, I might mention, you're not validating yourself is a solution for a dysfunctional family. It solves a problem for them. I no longer want to be the baggage holder for the family. They need to solve their problems. I don't want to invalidate myself so that I stay out of their way, so that they feel worthy, so that they feel superior to me. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to serve the family's unhealthy dynamic. But that's often the role we have played growing up. Thirdly, you can ask yourself, If you validated yourself, how would that threaten the family today? How would it have threatened the family then when you were growing up? We internalize the invalidating, and it keeps others safe. The same is true today. Your narcissistic sister, your narcissistic parent, that is important for them, for you to invalidate yourself. That keeps them okay, and it keeps you un-okay. And so we have to make some choices about that. Fourthly, work on reversing how you invalidate yourself. How do you self-gaslight? You call yourself dumb, stupid. My opinion is not as good as others. What makes that so? You can have an opinion. I mean, there are things I don't know. There are many people that are smarter than me in many areas. Many. But that doesn't mean I have no valid opinions, or that my opinion is not my opinion. It may be even an uninformed opinion. I can tell you what my opinion is about how the planets, orbit around the sun. Well, I may not have it right, but I have an opinion about it. And it may be partially true. Maybe I need to learn some more so I can even have a better opinion. But it's okay to have an opinion. And I think a part of recovery from growing up in a narcissistic home is to begin to validate your own opinion, even if it's not totally correct. Many people are not totally correct. Even experts are not even totally correct. So you can be not totally correct too, but it's still worth validating your opinion, because then you can learn more and you can adjust your opinion. But if you just invalidate your opinion, then you're sunk, in my opinion. In my opinion, you are just sunk if we don't validate any opinion. Hey, I want to thank you for watching today. Please subscribe. Please comment and like this video. Have a great day, and be wise.